Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to discuss how hinges are sold, how they're priced. In general, but not all the time, but as a general rule, hinges are sold per hinge. Per hinge. Regardless of how they're packaged, they're sold per hinge. So what that means is a lot of customers will ask the question, well, they're 3 per box, so when I buy one, I'm going to get 1 box of 3. Well, no. If you order one, you're going to get 1 hinge. If you order 3, they'll all come to you in a single box. But the quantity of hinges that you understandably conclude that you may get when you order one is really not related to the packaging at all. And the quantity of hinges sold and how it's boxed or packaged are indeed independent of each other because different hinges have different packaging requirements. If you have regular hinges, 4.5, 4.5, ball bearing, full mortise hinges, like I have here, they're going to be 3 in a box. That's just normal. That's industry standard. But that doesn't mean you buy one and you're going to get sent 3 hinges. You're going to get 1 hinge. If you order 1 hinge, it could come in a box, or more likely, we're going to take it out of the box, pull out the screws, pull out the hinge, and ship you just this material. Or maybe we won't. We don't know. It could come in a box. And the reason it's done this way is because there's different packaging requirements. So this hinge, 3 in a box, very typical. However, forgive me, this hinge, 3 each. That's normal. Okay? These hinges, 2 in a box. That's standard. If you buy 2, they'll come in 1 box. Or maybe they won't, but they probably will. If you bought 1, again, you know, these hinges are 2 in a box. You could also do something where it's 1 in a box. 1 each. So what you may have noticed here is we've got a 4.5 inch hinge here. You may not have noticed it, but this is a 4.5. Well, this is a 6 by 6, a much bigger hinge. They're not putting 3 of these into 1 box, or 2, or 4. They're packaging them as each. You could also have a really complicated scenario where you've got 2 hinges on a card. Now these hinges are priced as each. If you ordered 1, we're literally going to cut one of these out of here and send it to you with the screws. They could be priced per each, even though they're only sold by the manufacturer as sets of 2 on a card. This manufacturer will not cut that open and send it to you. Okay? We will. We're not going to force you to buy in multiples of 2 because you might need an odd number. So at the discretion of the distributors, how that's determined. So the general rule is hinges are sold priced per hinge. They're priced per hinge. They're sold per hinge. Order the quantity that you need. You could have a door that's 58 inches tall. You're going to need 2 hinges for that door. You could have a door that's 84 inches tall. You'll need 3. You could have a door taller than 90 inch where it would need 4 hinges. And then for every 30 inches taller than 90 inch, you're going to add an additional hinge. So be mindful. How many hinges do you need? That's the quantity you order. Unless it's specifically stated sold per pair. So the question becomes, what's the unit of measure? The unit of measure with hinges is each, or 1. That's just the unit of measure. In lots of other scenarios, the unit of measure will be per pair, but that will be very obvious. So the point of the matter is, unless it's otherwise noted, it's sold per each. And we absolutely endeavor to make that very clear in the site when you are looking for hinges, because to us it's obvious. We know how the industry works. We've been dealing with it for decades. And recognize the fact that it's not as obvious to everyone else. Now, having said that, pivots are funny because a pivots will use a part number for the pivot. And you can order that part number and it's not clear, well, do I get the top pivot and the bottom pivot, or do I get just the bottom pivot? Pivots are generally sold per set, a top and a bottom. Unless you do something to the part number, you're going to get a set. And the reason it's confusing is because the bottom part of a set has its own part number. The top piece has its own part number as well. But when you use a unique part number, you are getting a set of pivots. So that unfortunately complicates it even further. However, the intermediate pivots, if you're doing offset, those are sold as each. So the bottom line with pivots, you're going to buy the set unless you need specifically only part of the set, and then the part number will be obviously different. And then the intermediates are sold as each. I'm sure this has not done a whole lot to help clarify any confusion that exists, but it does make clear the statement of this is how hinges are priced, this is the multiple they're sold in, unless it's clearly identified. You could have a situation, and I can point to one, where you can only buy 100 of them because they're bulk packaged. When you buy one, you're going to get a box of 100 hinges, but that is very clear in the website, and I endeavor to put language there that specifically states, when you purchase one, we will send you one box of 100. We try to make it very plainly understood. But in most instances where they're just sold as each, we don't go to the length of explaining that. We really only try to go to the length of explaining when it is outside of the general rule. My name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and if I can be of any assistance on hinges, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.